Welcome back. Now to Alison Mack cracks. The Smallville actress admits to racketeering and conspiracy in the NXIVM sex cult case and may testify against the so-called self-help group's leader, Keith Raniere. Today, we expose how this rising Hollywood hopeful went from Superman's sidekick to an alleged sex cult's top slave recruiter.
I've been thinking about my priorities, and I think they're a little screwed up.
Self-reflection from Alison Mack's Smallville character, Chloe Sullivan, but perhaps apropos to Mack herself. Alison went from successful actress to admitted felon in a few short years, leaving former co-stars stunned.
It's shocking, and you know, she's like a lot of actresses or actors. Like, we want attention, we want approval, and she found something that she thought would probably, give her that.
That something was NXIVM, a so-called self-help group that Alison says she joined in part because she was trying to find purpose in her life. It was an issue she discussed in a video posted on YouTube.
I guess with the majority of my life trying to show people that I am who I think I should be rather than just being who I am. And who I am is pretty cool, but she's kind of lost by the wayside. So.
Psychotherapist Dr. Robi Ludwig says organizations like NXIVM prey on people like Alison Mack.
They almost love bomb them. They make them feel confident, they make them feel like they have a place, and the vulnerable get sucked in.
The 36-year-old actress who was accused of recruiting women as sex slaves for NXIVM and its leader Keith Raniere was introduced to the group by Smallville co-star Kristen Kruk. Despite being fast friends, fans compared the two and were often less complimentary towards Alison.
It is so damaging, and people can be fragile, and it sounds like Alison Mack was one of those fragile personalities.
Kristen claims she left NXIVM about 6 years ago once the group helped her to, quote, handle my previous shyness. Alison, however, remained and became an ever more fervid devotee.
When someone is obsessional, it's this myopic vision where they just dedicate themselves, and it sounds like that's what Alison had.
Alison says something she especially liked about being associated with NXIVM was...
We're all working together and no one is ever punished and no one is ever told that they're wrong or they're bad.
But court testimony in Keith Raniere's sex trafficking trial seems to contradict that. A former senior NXIVM member claimed Raniere set out to break female members, including Alison, by encouraging them to starve themselves to achieve the physique Raniere found most appealing. Mark Vicente testified that he expressed worry about the women looking skeletal and told Raniere that Ms. Mack seemed broken. Raniere's response was, well, I'm trying to break her.
They have to break you down before they can build you up. That's the only way that they can control your mind.
Up until the trial, it seemed that, just like Chloe and Clark Kent,
I would do anything for you.
Alison would do anything for Raniere. But now she says she's truly sorry for her role in NXIVM.
For the first time in a long time, she's able to see that her actions are wrong.
While it's a long way from Smallville to federal criminal court, Dr. Ludwig says...
Alison does not sound like a bad person. She sounds like a person who was used. And I think with the right treatment, she certainly can get through to the other side.
I want to be remembered for my spirit.
Alison Mack is scheduled to be sentenced in September. She faces up to 20 years in prison on each of the counts she's pleaded guilty to. Keith Raniere, meanwhile, has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering charges. His trial is currently taking place in Brooklyn Federal Court.